Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to film a review of this new TikTok viral foundation. This is the KVD Good Apple Foundation. I am unsure if this is gonna match me. It's very tan, but it was one of the only shades available, and there was like a really light shade. And I was like, honestly, I'd rather go a little bit darker, so then like if it doesn't match me now, it'll match me in like a couple of months, like as I start to get tan for the summer. So that is what we're going to be doing today. I have it pulled up on my phone and I'm gonna read you guys the claims. So it says full coverage, recyclable packaging, long wearing, matte finish, vegan and hydrating. First of all, how can it be a matte finish but also hydrating? That claim right there confuses the hell out of me. Like, is it matte or is it a hydrating foundation? How is it going to be both? I went ahead and moisturized my skin. It is plump and I'm going to prime like I normally would. So I'm going to be taking the One Size Secure the Blur and the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. If you guys are new to my channel, the way that I like to do reviews is I like to keep everything consistent. I don't want to, you know, try something new and do it with like a different primer or a different concealer or a different powder. Like, I'm going to do my normal skin routine, except the only variable is going to be the Good Apple Foundation. Okay, so now that we are all primed, how I'm going to apply this foundation is going to be two different ways. A lot of people have been saying it applies very well with a brush. I do not like brushes for foundation use. I haven't used a brush in years, but for the sake of this foundation, I am going to try it. I didn't buy the brush with it because honestly, I totally forgot it came with one. But I do have my Sigma Rounded Kabuki F82, which looks like this. This is what the packaging looks like. I don't know if you guys see it. It's pretty clear. I don't know. The packaging is not my favorite. I do like that it's recyclable, but I don't know. It's not like amazing. The foundation looks a little dark. I did go ahead and swatch it on my arm and it is definitely a little too tan for me, but for the sake of the review, we are going to work with it. I do have concealers that I can even out my skin with and make it look like it matches, but it is what it is. This side, we are going to be using this brush, and on the other side, we're going to be using a sponge, just because I personally use a sponge every single day. I want to see how it looks with that. And I'm going to go in with just a little bit of the foundation first. So like that much, because I heard that it's like extremely full coverage. Damn. At first glance, obviously, we can tell that the color does not match perfectly at all. But besides the color, the coverage is beautiful. Like, even though I'm taking just that little bit and I'm starting to like sheer it out on the remainder of my face, like it still covers my redness right here, which I very much enjoy. The coverage of this is honestly amazing. I am a full coverage queen, like I like that, but the one thing is about this is it does not look heavy on the skin. I don't know if you guys like can see it or not, but like to me, it does not look too heavy on my skin. So here are my thoughts so far with one side of my face done. It does apply really nicely with a brush, and that is a good thing because I personally just don't like using brushes because I feel that they absorb a lot of the product and it doesn't really cover my redness that well, but this is really nice. Like, even up close and personal, hold on, I'm gonna get like a, even up close and personal, it looks really smooth. It's not emphasizing any of my pores. It just looks like your skin with like a semi-matte finish. So I'm gonna take the sponge now and, ooh, I almost dropped it. And I'm gonna do this side of my face. So, wow. I picked up approximately the same amount and I'm just gonna apply it. One thing I have to say I'm noticing almost immediately, the sponge definitely sheared out the foundation a lot. Like, do you see the difference in both sides? Like, I used about the same amount and this side is definitely a little bit more sheer. So if you aren't someone who wants it to be like really full coverage, you can take a sponge and remove some of the coverage, and it will just absorb some of the product and make it look just like a little bit more natural. Side-by-side comparison, to be totally honest with you, I definitely like the brush side a little bit more if you want to know the truth, but they both really do pretty well. This still covered up my redness. I think I could just see my skin through it more than I can on this side. But now we're going to go ahead and apply my concealers. This is really going to, you know, put the foundation to a test to see how well it works with other products. So I'm going to use this concealer for underneath my eyes because this is my all over shade. And unfortunately, this is just going to have to work. And how I'm going to make it a little bit lighter is I am going to take this right here and go underneath my cheekbone. So then it looks more or less like a bronzer instead of a foundation, just because I don't really feel so comfortable going out of my house with my foundation looking so much darker than the rest of my skin. It's blending in really nicely. So the products I'm using on top of it still make it look extremely smooth, which I am really happy about that. So this is what my skin looks like before I go ahead and set it with powder. I think it looks really good. I mean, it definitely looks a little bit more hydrated because of the fact that I went on top of it with concealer, and that concealer is a little bit hydrating. So we are going to set my face just like we normally would. So I'm going to be taking my sponge, because this is how I like to set my foundation, and dipping it into my translucent powder from Laura Mercier. And I'm just going to go right over top and set this. And the reason that I like to push my powder in with a sponge is I really just think it helps mold the foundation, powder, and concealer into one layer instead of 3 different layers on top of each other. And I just noticed that my foundation wears a lot longer throughout the day besides using a brush, because I feel like the brush, it just sits the powder on top. Overall though, I personally feel like my skin looks really good. I am noticing the foundation is already starting to settle, like in my little like nose creases, but it's really hard for like any sponge or brush to get like right up in there. So I kind of always have this issue, but I don't like that like it's already happening and I just set my foundation. So that I am definitely not a big fan of. The only other thing I'm noticing is it's definitely already starting to settle into my smile lines. And that's the one thing I have to say about creams, is I feel like they just settle a lot faster and easier than a liquid foundation, just because they are a lot more full coverage. So I'm going to go ahead and apply my bronzer next. The reason I'm going to do this on camera is because I want to show you guys how well it blends powders on top of it once it's already been set. So I'm just going to use my Jaclyn Hill bronzing duo. I'm not going to put too much on just because my skin is already just a little darker than it needs to be. Okay, so my powders went on really, really, really nicely. It still looks pretty smooth for the most part. The only thing I am noticing is a little bit of patchiness with the bronzer, and I'm unsure if that's like the foundation kind of picking up, or if it's the bronzer or whatever. I don't know. Overall, I don't think it looks horrible. Like I said, there's just a little bit of patchiness on both sides with the bronzer that I'm not very obsessed with. I feel like my skin overall does not look horrible. Like, it just looks kind of like skin. The only thing I will say is the matte finish is what's really making my skin look a little bit more mature than it is. And my skin looks pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's full coverage. It covers everything I want it to cover. But I feel like my skin is just looking a little bit more mature, if that's the right word. So I'm going to do what I normally do. And after I do all my powders, I'm going to spray my face with some Urban Decay. I sprayed it directly into my eyes, so that's wonderful. So I just drenched my skin just to bring back some life, because I feel like the matteness of the foundation, the powder on top of it, it all just kind of looks a little too flat for me. And I want it to absorb some of that powder, and I want it to look like skin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup, and then I will come back in for a check-in, and then we will do a wear test throughout the day to see how well this foundation holds up. We're gonna wear a mask, we're gonna, do daily activities and see how well this foundation holds up. Okay, so I'm back. It is 1:13 p.m. So this is what it looks like after about an hour of use. And I have not put any highlighter on because I don't wanna emphasize anything. I really just want to see how much the oil kind of peeks through on its own. And I have to say, for 1 hour, the tip of my nose is already starting to get a little bit dewy, and you can kind of see right in this area, a shine is already starting to kind of peek through the makeup. So I will do a check-in before I go and get my nails done. I literally broke 2 of them, so I need to go and get those fixed. And then I will come back and do a final check-in to let you guys know how this foundation did all day. It's probably gonna be like a good 6 to 8 hours of wear, which I think is pretty normal for makeup. So I will check back in a couple of hours to let you guys know how this is working. Okay, so I just got back from getting my nails done. It is 5:59. It's 6 o'clock and I've only had this foundation on for about, I would say, 5 hours. And do we see all of this going on? It's very, very, very oily. So what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna slightly touch up a little bit. I'm just going to set my face in the areas where I'm super oily. I wanna know how well this foundation is going to work if I touch it up. So I'm gonna take just this little brush and just start setting the areas. And I did have a mask on, so it did kind of hold up through having a mask on. I don't really notice like that much separation except on my nose, but I just don't like how oily it is. And I think that is just because it is a cream foundation, and that's honestly what you're gonna get. Like, it's like kind of missing all from this area. But what am I gonna do? I had to have a mask on, and makeup only will do so much. Like, it's only gonna last so long. It's only going to be transfer proof enough, but it doesn't claim to be transfer proof. It just claims to be long wearing. So as you guys can see, touching it up, it really just looks like I freshly applied it. And I really like that. Some foundations, they're kind of ruined once they start to get a little bit oily. Do we like my nails? I'm not sure if I love or not, but I wanted to do something different, so I decided to just do an ombre effect. It is what it is. I'm stuck with them for 2 weeks. So I'm gonna do one more check-in. It's 6 o'clock. I'll probably come back around 9:30, 10 o'clock and do like a final check-in with you guys before I take my makeup off to let you guys know kind of my final thoughts on this foundation and if I think it's worth it or if I think it's worth the TikTok hype. So I will see you guys back in a couple hours. Okay guys, so it's been a really long day. It's 9:23 p.m. This is what the foundation looks like. Safe to say, I'm not 100% impressed with it. Would I wear this foundation for an all-day affair? No, absolutely not. This does not live up to the claim of being long-lasting, unfortunately. It's just there's breakage and I don't know, it just does not last that long on the skin. If you do not set it again, like there's so much breakage. Oh, I don't even like to look at my skin in this HD, but I would wear this if I were to wake up and go, to the grocery store for like, I don't know, an hour or two, but I definitely would not wear this foundation for a long period of time. That is my own personal preference. It does not live up to the claim of being long lasting, and I definitely don't think it's a matte finish either. It is matte in the beginning, but it really does do up very, very, very quickly, and it does separate. So honestly, this is the only thing good about this foundation is its full coverage. That's pretty much it. That's why it went viral on TikTok, but for me personally, this is probably just gonna go in there with like one of those foundations that I would like wear to the beach or something that I don't care if it comes off or anything like that. But for everyday wear, no, it's a negative from me. So I'm sorry that it was not a positive end result. I was really hoping for a positive result, and I was hoping that it was gonna live up to the expectations, but unfortunately it does not. I do have another foundation here that I do wanna try for you guys on camera. It's the new Fenty foundation. So if you guys want to see that, let me know down in the comments. I am going to take all of this makeup off because my skin is literally screaming. So, oh, I can't wait to take these lashes off. I love you guys so much. Do not forget to subscribe. The button is down there. Give the video a thumbs up. And I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye, guys.